Traders, welcome on back here this Tuesday, May 16th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. Great to see all of our students and members rejoining us. Kathleen picked up some good money just before an XELA. Great to see that. Great to see Kathleen as always as well, though. Great to see Ravina here, too. And the rest of us just joining us on ahead, though. We had Bell before, Jith here, Ron, Dave, and all of us just joining us as well. So with that said, folks, let's hop right into the thick of it here. Today is actually like my favorite, my second favorite type of day when it comes to day trading. What that means is that really my favorite type of day when it comes to day trading is really when the markets are crashing, because there's always something that's making like a bit of a move up going against the grain where we could easily look to long it. Actually, it's kind of making its own move on its own accord. Well, today, hey, it's my second favorite type of the day. The markets aren't exactly tanking just yet. They've been just completely flat, though. Completely flat. And with that, it just goes to show, even in a stagnant market, well, hey, we could find great opportunity across the whole board. Hey, we have VKTX up on the screen here. It's only up 13%. We've seen stocks make a bigger move than this. This is actually like making a tenth of the move compared to the Excella stock that Kathleen just picked up on just before. So, hey, VKTX, at least with what's on the screen here, we were talking about this coming off of our Traders Talk workshop. This got my number earlier in the morning. I was looking for the perfect bounce rate from 2139, 2140-ish. Basically, we had called it out, and I took like a loss and then a break even. All right, that's not the end of the world there. The end of my world is seeing this pop up literally probably 20 seconds after I took the break even here. Went completely on up without me. So, man, that was a pain. That was really hard to see happen, right? I don't mind it going up 10 cents, 30 cents, whatever. I was trading it on small size given the liquidity, right? Right now, even this is on a bit of a spread, thin volume out there. So it wasn't one I was like uberly ready to trade a bunch of shares of, but the more it goes up without you, well, of course, at that point, you start getting a little bit more ticked off, right? So, it ran up towards 24. We were doing Traders Talk. I came off of Traders Talk. I'm like, oh my God, missed out like on like, $2+ on it. Well, hey, coming off Traders Talk, folks, a little extra Traders Talk content for all of us on social media here in particular. So 2390 became as important of a level throughout the late morning, early afternoon as 24 was. I was on a coaching call with one of our students earlier. I took a small loss. I was in from 2390 here, and then I got out at like 2379, I think it was. It was like a 12-cent hit on small size. Well, hey, the more times it can knock its head on that resistance, you'd like to think there's a very good chance to see that better move, the move that you wanted at first. So led to the re-entry, led to the run up. So VKTX, aside from the like low volume stuff we had in pre-market, this technically speaking is at regular session all-time highs. Regular session, not pre-market. There's a little stuff here pre-market, but it's just to say at least, hey, right now it's pulling back a small bit. It was a good time to take the money off of 25, or at least part of the money off of 25, 24.80-ish. Just to at least get some out, and then maybe just kind of hold the second half for fun. But yeah, for right now, I'll put this on our main list going into the close, just in hopes of this popping higher. So, hey, we had the VKTX. We had the mixed trade here, actually, otherwise. We talked about this also in the Traders Talk workshop from earlier. More so, it reviewed the move that we had from after the market opened up, the pop and the halt. Well, hey, on a halt, especially coming into the first 1 or 2 minutes of the open, no one here in our trading room was really in that move at the time. Like you're not trading the first minute. I wasn't. It's very rare for me to trade the first few minutes. It's just that here popped up suddenly without us. It ended up running up or gapping up rather up towards 250. But the telling point on this trade was the fact that we ended up seeing like 2-ish here hold as support prior to the dump off. It led to a great bounce at the time. We went over that also in our workshop earlier. Well, now at this stage, what goes up comes back down. We expect that, especially looking at what happened here on the daily chart. I mean, just across the last 6-7 years, the stock's been taking a huge hit, lower high, pulling back. So maybe over time, there could be room for day-over-day growth in terms of a short squeeze. But once this gap up happens and it makes lower highs, like this here is not a surprising end result. All right, so I'll tell you what, I kind of skipped over the Excella trade. I was kind of just looking to go, around quickly at first, but really we'll just rip it from top to bottom here. Otherwise, the VKTX is still on our list. The Excella, now this looks like a really healthy chart, right? Take one look at the daily here, right? This stock just from the last year is tanked. Reverse stock splits factored in. Splits is in plural because that's probably the news that came out here today or from overnight. But I'm sure they've had more than just this one here. This thing is just taking a huge hit, even dating back to like 21 or 20. So it definitely wasn't like a $20,000 equity back then. Just for right now, we'll see this look to try and pump up even higher. But just like we said before on the mixed trade, when the stock looks to make lower highs and the volume peaks and it begins to wane off here a bit, that's where you have to be really careful for a sharper drop off going on the way down. All right, so really quickly, folks, just bear with me a quick second right now. All right, cool. We are good to go. Let's see what else we have here, though. The APLD, another runner from earlier today, still pushing up heading into like 1:32 o'clock. Ended up making a strong move up and over the 5 level heading into the mid-afternoon, going into 1 p.m. Pushed off pretty nicely off of 450. At this point right now, it just looks pretty choppy just over the last hour, 45 or so minutes. If it was showing better direction towards the highs as we're talking, I'd probably be more inclined to put it on our main list. Oh, shoot, I didn't even realize this stock is easy to borrow right now on TradeStation. Are you kidding me? Wow. I mean, hey, they're probably going to be making a lot more money by having it listed as easy to borrow compared to having it listed as hard to borrow because most people probably won't make money on the short. But that's not going to stop us from trying to ride the stock, not just on the way up, but perhaps here. Hey, if this could hold under 545 here, hold under 550, or just later on speaking, that could be not right now, but it could lead to a nice pullback. It's up a lot already. And then vice versa. If it makes higher lows from this point forward, then look at the higher high and look to see trend resume then on the way upward. All right, so we got GDC, another one from earlier today, really from like a few days ago, right? Had popped up pretty nicely, dumped off. Well, here once again today, popped up pretty nicely, up and over 750, up and over 8, ran up pretty nicely, but then dumped off. All right, we keep it going here, though. I mean, really, just a lot of these stocks, unless if they're at the highs or lows respectively at this time of the day, I'm not going to be as keen to follow it. This is at the high of the day. I'll look at it, but looking at the order book, just very thin. So no need to follow this type of liquidity. MEGL pop and drop. We saw that one maybe from like a week or two ago. NVTS, it's kind of holding its own here. Liquidity not terrible. Big iceberg order on the ask. Resistance, maybe a target to focus on at 820. You know what? For right now, we don't have a large list here for the meantime, so I'll add it. NVTS looks like it had like just kind of a flat line here, right around like 10-ish, 980-ish here. I don't know if it's going to pump up that high today or tomorrow, but take a look here also on the weekly chart. 831 a peak, and then also higher here, 835. So that kind of lines up a little bit more with where it's nearby trading. It has to first hit that 820 iceberg. Should it break above that, I would assume a little historical level right around that last peak point. All right, what else we got here, though? PHIO, X4 from the morning, both duds. Both were duds from earlier on our morning watch list. Not everyone's going to hit. Not everyone's going to be VKTX or like AI or any of the others that we were trading from before. Ooh, this IONQ still holding pretty well. One of our students had called this one out actually earlier during the audio commentary we provide. Still holding pretty nicely here. Ran up actually higher from where we left off on it and testing 8 here for right now. So yeah, definitely strong one. IONQ. Look to see this break back over 8, show higher lows from there. A long day of talking, folks. I was actually tallying it up beforehand. Had a pre-market coaching session with my friend Steve here just earlier, and I covered for Fausto in the morning. We're counting 5.5 hours worth of talk time. It's like if you watch NFL Red Zone, that guy Scott Hansen, always doing the commentary. That's me today. So, definitely need a water break or two, but nevertheless, we're continuing here. ACHR, not bad. It's at the highs right now. Just wish it was trading more volume per minute. Perhaps it will if it could bust through this big 70,000 share iceberg right now on the ask. So that actually makes it even more compelling. I don't mind putting this on our list for right now either. Not the most lively, but good setup though if it could bust through that 260. Yeah, Kara here today, kind of a familiar name. Just wanted to look at it quickly. Just kind of a dud though for right now. All right, we'll see if there's anything looking just as good, if not better, from the loser side though. Like we'd said before, market's really flat today. It was pulling back heading into this meeting, but haven't really gone anywhere since. So, whew, holy smokes, what the hell happened here? I mean, it was hard to borrow, so I didn't even give it the light of day looking at this stock, but right now is actually my first look. OMH. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, what goes up surely comes back down. We've learned that. We teach that all the time here. Stock made a low float, low volume pump up. If you actually go back to this meeting 24 hours ago, now that I'm recalling it now here, it's been a long day, so I apologize, but I actually recall myself saying this. The fact that what goes up comes back down. What makes the top percent gainers list one day is likely to dud off into the open tomorrow morning. Now, I wasn't necessarily expecting down 79%, but I think that kind of proves the point even that much more, doesn't it? So you never want to hold a day trade overnight. I know like a lot of us have heard that, frequently enough. You don't do that, but I got to keep proving that point because we always have new members subscribing to our YouTube channel here that are watching Fausto in the morning, myself here. We always got to cross our T's, dot our I's. Same to be said on ELOCs. If there was another push up on this trade after the open, then perhaps we would have been more interested in it. SE, I said this from the morning session too. I mean, nice trend. It was dropping off really well in pre-market going into the open, continued trend perfectly after the open. Just the only issue on it is that it's a little expensive, and that's what makes it more illiquid than anything. There's always like an AMD out there, an SQ, an NVIDIA, whatever the case may be, that has more volume, more shares outstanding, tighter spread out there altogether. You got to watch out for that here, right? But it's easy to borrow and it's at the lows. So I'll put it on our main list. If you want to buy puts on it here, try and day trade the options. Probably say the same on HCMP. See, I'm never going to skip over this stock now. Blue, BLUE. This stock's always snuck up on us, and once again has today. It's down over 11%. We didn't call this out from the morning. Dropped off really nicely at first. It was a great short. This one always like flies under the radar, flies right under our nose here. Like on the way up, on the way down. Definitely a good side list stock. It's cheap, not like the most volatile. Got LABU here today, shortable ETF, I reckon, but in that case, I may as well look at LABD, right? I mean, we had this on the morning watch list from earlier. It's trending back up pretty nicely, so I'd rather at least kind of focus on a trade on the way up. That's kind of just my innate kind of bias there, but so be it. We'll do, what was that one? The LABD ETF. VKTX still holding here. So, again, hey, we don't need to build up a big list. We already have a bunch of good ones out there so far between the Excella, the NVTS, the IONQ, my VKTX, obviously, we talked about. All right, so folks, let me know if there's anything up, down, left, right, more than 5%. Type it in right now. Type it in on the chat boards here on YouTube and social, or, of course, inside our live trading room. Sydney saying a split yesterday, that Excella trade. Yeah, no surprise there. I didn't really even look at the news. I just saw that the price, that was like a penny stock essentially, right? In so many words, you could say that's like a stock below $1 for so long, and now it's at $6-7. Yeah, it's a split. Mike saying Array at the low of the day. It's down nearly 5%. Good sideless stock. If you do well on that one in particular, I'm sure you'll be more keen to follow it. All right, I'm going to take a look at a couple sideless stocks of my own here before we wrap up. A few of our students were saying in the chat board earlier, like AI, they were, focused on going into 1:30, 2 o'clock Eastern. It's not making any good move now. I was watching it going into 10 o'clock, missed out on a good run during Traders Talk here, actually. But now at this point, especially after failing to hold a higher low here from the past peak, I don't think it's really worth our time right now at this point. So I definitely move on from the AI trade. For anyone that thinks I love the stock AI, if you think this is like the new Neo to me, hey, it goes to show once again, you got to know when to fold them. You got to know when to just focus on something else. I did well in the morning on this trade, at least prior to Traders Talk. Missed out on the better run, but caught the first leg, and there's no need to follow this. This is going absolutely nowhere right now, unless if sudden news comes out, right? And that's always subject to change, but otherwise, folks, I think that's going to do it here. I mean, really, there's not much else that popped up on my radar. I think we pretty much caught them all. All right, so let me just double check here lastly on social before we wrap up. We got a few of us just joining us right now, a couple late goers here. So we're going to wrap up right now, folks. If you have any last questions, feel free to shoot me a quick email. Josh@ctutrading.com is the handle, always is. So any questions or trades that you'd want to go over with me on the side, got a couple more I have to answer from Traders Talk just from earlier, but keep them coming in. And by tomorrow morning, I'll have a response back to you via email. If you're interested in joining us just inside our live trading room, just go right down to the link on the green banner below the stream, just for all of us joining us there on the bottom. But for Dan and Sydney, oh, Dan, I appreciate the kind words, my friend. Thank you so much. Dan saying, by the way, nice work on the Bookmap webinar series that they conducted yesterday on their YouTube channel. Hey, thanks for the reminder there, Dan. Last call, actually, on that for anyone alike on social or inside our live trading room. If you had missed out on that, I joined Bruce and the fine folks at Bookmap on their YouTube channel there for a nice webinar, tagging in for Fausto yesterday. Actually, I'll post that inside our YouTube stream right now as well. So if you wanted to take a look, you can actually go right to Bookmap's YouTube channel, bookmap.com or youtube.com/bookmap. But with that, though, otherwise, I posted the link inside the chat right there on YouTube. All right, there we go, folks. So I'm going to need a water break, but I'll be sticking around until 3:30, as always. And then Rich will be on the mic taking us going into the close just from 3 to 4 p.m., folks. All right, so we'll chat with you all coming up pretty shortly. Take care.